Lord of the Rings of Power just released episode 3, and I'm going to discuss it. I'm going to give you my spoiler review / first reaction to the episode. If you've watched some of my Rings of Power videos already, you know I've said a lot of positive things and a lot of negative things about the series so far. And episode 3, did it make the show better? Did it make the show worse, in my opinion? The answer is yes to both of those things. But again, before I get too deep into this video, there is going to be some spoilers. This isn't going to be a play-by-play. I'm just giving you my brief overall thoughts after just watching the episode. So if you haven't watched it yet and you're interested, I'd suggest you go watch it and then come back and watch this. Also, I've said this in my previous Rings of Power videos yet again, but it's worth noting here because I know new people watch these every single week, but I have not read the source material. I have not read Lord of the Rings or any of the J.R.R. Tolkien books. I'm not watching this show from the point of view of a fanatic of the source material. I am watching this show, however, from the point of view of someone who absolutely loves Lord of the Rings, who grew up with the movies and is really interested in and really wants to explore this universe deeper. I also talk about other TV shows on this channel. I'm talking about House of the Dragon simultaneously. You should go check out those videos. I'm really enjoying that show. But anyway, let's get right into the episode. What are my thoughts? Let's get right into the positives first and foremost. Once again, the visual effects look stunning. And I want to talk about something that I didn't mention in any of my previous videos, and that is the practical effects and the costume design and just like the sets. 10 out of 10 in those regards. The costume game in this show is absolutely on point. Everyone's costume design looks absolutely beautiful. Some of the best costumes I've seen in a fantasy live action show or movie to date. That's just a fact. And also the practical effects look really good. Like obviously some shots and some scenes have tons of CGI, but let's not sleep on the practical effects. They're using practical effects quite a bit, and I'm actually genuinely happy with that. Like, we see orcs a lot in this episode. We see orcs more in this episode than we did in the first 2 episodes, and I love looking at them. Like, they could have taken the route of CGI and just made everyone look, you know, like a digital effect, but they didn't. It looks really creepy, and the orc designs and the actual practical effects on those orcs rival the Peter Jackson movies, in my opinion. And also, I'm liking more than just Galadriel. If you watched my previous videos, you'd know that I said Galadriel is the only character I'm really invested in so far. That kind of changed with this episode. The person she's with, I believe his name is Halbert or Halbit or something like that. Halbit, maybe? I don't know. I'm horrible with Middle-earth names. I apologize. But that character, I didn't really care for him much in episode 2. I thought he was a bit bland. And this episode, I grew to like him. And I'm actually invested in his storyline, especially after the reveal that they gave him. Yes, it kind of feels like they're repeating the Aragorn storyline, but also it's a common storyline in fantasy, so I'm not going to complain. But let's talk about a negative that I have, and that is the Harfoots. I didn't really hate on them too much in my episode 1 and 2 reviews, but my god, in this episode, I officially just don't care about their storyline. I do not care about what's going on at all. Whenever they were on screen and whenever it was showing their storyline in this episode, I almost fell asleep. And speaking of falling asleep, why Amazon? Why are you now choosing to release this show at midnight Eastern time, where the first 2 episodes you released at 9 p.m.? Just do 9 p.m. It's easier for everyone. Why are you making us stay up till midnight to watch this stuff? Like, I'm finding it kind of hard enough to watch the show already. And now it's like, do I do other stuff or do I wait up till midnight to watch a show that is barely keeping my attention? But yeah, I really hope that the Harfoot storyline gets better, in my opinion. I'm just not invested in any of those characters at all. The stranger that came down from the meteorite is interesting enough. I'm really curious to see where his character goes and how he, you know, is integrated in the overall plot of the show. But so far, that's the only thing I care about in that arc. It didn't show Elrond or the dwarfs this episode, which I'm kind of sad about. They were my favorite part of episode 2. Also, a few new characters were introduced this episode, and I genuinely like these characters, which I'm excited about, because I really want to like a lot of these characters, not just some of them, and some of the new characters had strong starts. For example, there's the captain dude, I forget his name, I apologize, but he's like a captain in the land of Númenor, I believe. I really like him, and his son Isildur. His son Isildur seems very interesting to me so far. Now, obviously, I believe this is the same Isildur as the beginning of the Lord of the Rings movie, you know, the dude who refuses to destroy the One Ring, but I'm curious to see how he goes from that dude to this dude. Anyway, that's my quick thoughts on episode 3 of Rings of Power. I don't have much to say about this episode. It hooked me in a bit more than it was, but it lost me in other parts where I was kind of invested, so overall it kind of evens out. But I will say this, after watching episode 3, I have a little bit more faith in the show than I did after episode 2, which in the end is a good thing. But still, I'm not as invested as I want to be. I'm not as into it as I want to be. And whenever I'm watching this show, I'm just remembering how good the movies are, and it's making me so depressed. Anyway, what did you think about the newest episode? Let me know in the comments, and consider subscribing. Again, I do TV show discussions, movie discussions, trailer reactions, that sort of thing. Just consider subscribing if you want to follow along with the series with me, or Rings of Power, or other shows, or House of the Dragon. I mean, this is Rings of Power. House of the Dragon. Thank you for watching. Thank you.